Well, the U.S. is now 2 years into unusually high inflation. And during that time, there's also been talk of looming recession. But what does the data tell us today? John Phipps takes a look in John's world this week.
Business websites and publications have it down to a formula. A big portion of their front page coverage is anchored by a serious, but not necessarily consistent quote from a handful of economic shamans like Warren Buffett, Jamie Dimon, Larry Summers, and heaven help us, Elon Musk. For the past year, they have almost inevitably touched on inflation or interest rates or both. This is the business equivalent of a fantasy league. And the big game they are all calling is the impending recession in the U.S. The causal link between the Federal Reserve discount rate and inflation is obvious to all serious armchair economists. Low rates encourage borrowing and spending, increasing demand. Therefore, it follows higher rates will lower demand and slow consumer price increases. It's just that simple, except for a few details. First and most importantly, there's a time delay between a Fed rate increase and any response to inflation. Hundreds of studies have been done, but there's broad consensus around 1 year. That's from a range of 9 months to 3 years. Second, the effects intensify gradually, especially since the Fed has added steady jumps since it began in March 22, a little over a year ago. Third, wild cards unrelated to interest rates. One factor that showed up for a lot of farmers, the supply chain still has a lot of kinks in it. Try ordering a new PTO shaft or planter monitor screen. When trade is physically stalled, the price of existing or old fixable stuff increases regardless of interest rates. There are other delays built in, since all loan and deposit interest rates don't immediately match the Fed moves. The result is, even though consumer and producer inflation have been slowly trending lower since about this time last year, as rate increases work through the system, there's a good chance of overshoot. The next few months should be instructive. My guess is inflation will drift lower, perhaps even accelerate. The housing component of the CPI and the PCE lag considerably and are just beginning to decline. It is not inconceivable that the Fed will be reversing course abruptly and mirroring the upward spike with a rate decrease cliff to battle a looming recession. Regardless, we are just beginning to see the results of Fed actions.
Thanks, John. Well, Montgomery Ward wasn't just a popular department store. Did you know they also sold tractors? It's true. Machinery Pete gives us a look in Tractor Tales next.